Why, hello human beings, how you doing today? Sendo Q here, and thank you for visiting my channel. Today, I'm not on the camera, but I am going to talk about the PlayStation 5 Pro. And yes, it took me some days, and we found out more information that I kind of want to place out there. So you could just listen to me through talking. I'm not on the camera. If you want to watch me click around, that's 100% fine as well. One thing, first and foremost, I want to say this. These consoles should drop in price as far as the older hardware. When hardware get older, the consoles should drop down in price. And I do agree with that. But these consoles are not dropping in price. Think about it. You have yourself the Xbox Series S, the budget version of the Xbox Series console. It's still $300 for the what 500 gigabytes of storage. To me, it should be like this for the Xbox camp. It should be $199, so 200 for the Xbox Series S. Then it should be $300 for the Xbox Series X all digital. Then it should be at least 400 for the Xbox Series X, and then 500 for the Xbox Series X 2 terabyte version. In my opinion, that's actually should fit where the console should be dropping down in price. And with the PlayStation, the all digital ones should be $299 or $250. Then the disc version should be $400. Then the brand new PlayStation 5 Pro should be $500. And if you add the disc, $600. I don't care about the what's inside of it, but all these consoles should drop down in price. But yet, $700 for the PlayStation 5 Pro and $600 for the Xbox Series X 2 terabyte. Let's just get this out there right now. These consoles should be dropping down in price, because if my 6950 XT costs $500 brand new after a $1,100 cost, which I got mine's at $700 due to a friend. Thank you, friend. Really appreciate it. These consoles are too expensive. It come to a point where I even asked 3 people that I know. My friend, he said, Q, this PlayStation 5 Pro is too expensive. Can you build me a PC? And I don't mind. I don't mind building him a PC. And then one person who actually played on the PlayStation 5, he was thinking about upgrading to the PlayStation 5 Pro, but after finding out the price, he said, I might as well just move over to PC after this generation. These consoles are too expensive, and they're not tech savvy dudes. I'm more tech savvy than they are, but these consoles are too expensive. Let's just keep it 100% real. But right now, we're talking about the PlayStation 5 Pro. I don't have no smoke with this, because even graphics cards are expensive, okay? I don't have no smoke. I'm not legion to anything, okay? I want to keep it real. If I had to pick a console, I'm going to pick a Nintendo Switch over Nintendo consoles over the PlayStation and Xbox. So let's take that with consideration. But let's just continue, okay? We're looking at this article by Games Radar, okay? I know y'all don't like gaming journalists, but right now we're just reading the information. Sony, the PlayStation 5 Pro is launching this November for the low price of $700. And if you get the disc drive, which is sold out, and then the stand is like $800. Oh yeah, that's right. Scalpers is buying it. They bought all the disc drive and selling it for about $250. Let that sink in. I'm starting to realize, like, at this point, nobody don't care about physical media. Let's keep it a buck. Yes, the Xbox is, you could buy the digital version or the disc version. You still got options right there. But if you just buying a console, if you just buying a console right now, like you don't have no console, you go to the store, should I buy the Xbox Series X or the PlayStation 5 Pro? Because at this point, for $700, that's too expensive. Even $600 is expensive. Don't get me wrong, but this is actually the first console of a pro system that does not come with a disk drive. But at the same time, for the fanboys, let's keep it real. For the fanboys, you're into PC territory now. There's no argument about these consoles are cheaper than PCs because going to keep it real. $700. Y'all say you can't build one that low. Wait till later. Oh, I don't want to build one. Okay, then explain you putting a disk drive onto the PlayStation 5 Pro and a M.2 SSD into the PC. I mean, into a PlayStation 5. There you go. You're actually building a PC basically. Yeah, it was halfway done for you, but you still got to place it in. And then, oh, I don't want to think about drivers. With the disc that you had to add onto the PlayStation 5, guess what you got to download? Software for the disk drive, aka a driver, pretty much. So you basically in the territory of building a PC. I don't want to hear no, I gotta wait on drivers. Why you gotta do drivers? I gotta do this and all that stuff. No, I'm not. These consoles are too much like PCs now. Might as well just get a PC. I don't want to hear any argument about that. Let's just keep on going. Sony officially unveiled the PlayStation 5 Pro in today's technical presentation. Look at that. Vertical stand sold separately. So that means you gotta buy a vertical stand. I won't be surprised if that sold out for $30. If you got a 3D printer with a PC, you could print yourself one, but hey, it's whatever. After months of speculation, which is a lot of rumors and it's getting muddy with it, it finally happened. The PlayStation 5 Pro had been revealed, finally offering the spruce up version of the Sony current generation console the players have been waiting for. Up until this point, Sony hasn't sold much and utter a word about a new iteration of the PlayStation 5. But thanks to rampant leaks and speculations, which I want to keep it real, you should not believe in rumors, because until it's come out of the real source's mouth, then you could believe it. It's being assumed that it's only be a matter of time until it was revealed. We were given our first official details about the upcoming console in today's PlayStation 5 technical presentation, which also confirmed that it'll be hitting shelves on November 7th. Yay! I'm not getting one. I got a PC. I'm going to keep it real. I haven't picked up like a PlayStation or an Xbox since 360. 360. I haven't touched a console. And trust me, I don't care where I play my games. It's just I haven't touched a console since. No. Let me rephrase that. I own the Wii U. That was like during that generation. I owned a Wii U, and to me, it was all about innovation. I always look at innovation over anything else. If a console do something that the other console can't do, it's going to attract me a little bit more. That's why I was more attracted about the Wii U. Wii U flop, but due to their first party games, it somehow survive ish, but it's whatever. As you expect, the PlayStation 5 Pro, and I think that was super expensive too, $300 for that. As you expect, the PlayStation 5 Pro will be significantly pricier than the regular PlayStation 5 2, costing $699.99. $700, let's just say $700. Okay, whatever, a penny. Compared to the usual $500 or $480 or $400 for the digital edition. That all should have went down in price because we're at that point where hardware's supposed to go down, but what do you expect? For the extra cost, though, you can expect some significant improvement, include a upgraded GPU that allows for up to 45% faster rendering. Like, I haven't heard that before. Okay, like, I had a 6900 XT, right? And I got the 6950 XT, right? I bought the 6950 XT from my friend for $700, and I sold my 6900 XT for it was in the build. I sold it for a pretty good price. $400 I sold it for, so take that with a grain of salt. Uh I think it's like a 10 to 12% increase, but it was like $100 difference if you look at both cards at retail price. Ray tracing have been improved. Okay, so AMD Radeon RX going to have some improvement ray tracing on their next cards, I guess. Allow ray tracing to be cast as double or even triple the speeds of the standard PlayStation 5. If you don't know, the original PlayStation 5 had ray tracing, and the ray tracing on the PlayStation 5 was horrible. But looking at the PlayStation Tech demo, it looked better, but to get 2 to 3% better from something that was not the greatest, just look at it like that, in my opinion. On top of that, PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, or PSSR, let me just say it, is pretty much DLSS or the AMD version. I can't think about it right now because I want to keep it real. I don't use it because I want pure performance, what my car could do without having those those DLSS equivalent to that thing. I'd rather be more performance without using that. Is being introduced an AI driven upscale, which will be used to provide crisp, clear image quality using machine learning. I got the Google Pixel 8 Pro. It have AI. The reason why I got the Google 8 Pro is because I want to learn more about AI. So I'm using it as a tool, but AI isn't everything. It's just honestly at this point buzzword to get investors to invest in the company. Let's just keep it 100% real. AI is good if you use it as a tool, but investors like the word AI at the moment. Whatever you think the PlayStation 5 Pro is worth it or not, which is not, it's entirely up to you. It looked like it's set to deliver all the performance upgrades fans had expect based on previous leaks. So, for those chasing the best possible visuals and frame rate in this game, in their games, the model will hopefully be able to offer a even greater experience. So let's go ahead and break this down. There's a thing with consoles where they lock the frames to a certain frame rate due to the limitation of a console, because the console not going to have the same power as a PC. So in order for the frames to be unlocked, the company need to go to the people who created the game to go ahead and work on a patch pretty much to get it to a higher frame rate. And these consoles supposed to go up to 120 frames a second. So why we're at 30 and why people saying, oh, 60 is fine, these consoles could go up to 120 frames a second. So why not get to 120 frames a second even on these older games, because these games are old and they could run it. Because I could pop in a Xbox game, let's say Freedom Fighters, because I downloaded it from Steam, put my regular hardware on it, and without the game, because when they create the game on PC, there was no locked frames. I'm getting higher than 120 frames a second in a Xbox game from a long time ago. So we already had that technology without having a company force getting our games to a lock frame rate. And that's just how it is. But what's funny is you have to take this with a grain of salt, because something like this could happen. Tom Warner, Sony wasn't super clear on this yesterday, but there will still be 30 frames a second PlayStation 5 Pro enhanced game. Going to keep it real, a lot of people like pretty graphics on a console. So honestly, I'm not surprised. And yes, it's a rumor, so let's just say that. Sony is working on a new high-end version of the PlayStation 5, codenamed Trinity, and likely to debut as the PlayStation 5 Pro later this year. The Verge confirmed leaked specs about the PlayStation 5 Pro earlier this week, and we also obtained details on how existing a new PlayStation 5 games could be enhanced to take advantage of the PlayStation 5 Pro hardware. Sony is also working on a Ultra Boost mode from older games to make them run better on the PlayStation 5 Pro. I'm going to keep it real. My phone got Ultra Boost when it's recording in night mode, so it does make it look better in night mode, but Ultra Boost mode, we already got that. It's called a PC. Sources familiar with the Sony plans to take The Verge that it tells The Verge that Sony is asking developers to create a new PlayStation 5 Pro exclusive graphics mode in games that combines Sony new PlayStation Specular Super Resolution (PSSR) upscaling to 4K resolution with a 60 frames per second frame rate and ray tracing effects. That's the problem that I have. You need to use technique in order to get to a frames that you need. This is the reason I don't even play with like my generation on my PC and everything, and I don't like play at ray tracing or all of that. I want to play the game when it was made when it was made so my hardware could play at this base form. So what my hardware could do for what my games could play, and all this upscaling and stuff. I don't even play with upscaling on my games. I just let my hardware do all the work. It's funny because I don't even play with ray tracing. I play with ray tracing a little bit. And I'm like, it's whatever. A lot because it hurts the performance. So I'd rather turn off ray tracing and lower my visuals in order to get better frames so the games could feel better. Insider Games first report on some of these enhanced PlayStation 5 Pro game details last month. While Sony want this new mode in games, the PlayStation 5 Pro enhanced label will still be available for a variety of other scenarios that include 30 frames per second games. Developers have the option of increasing the target resolution for PlayStation 5 Pro games that runs at a fixed resolution on the PlayStation 5, or even increase the target maximum resolution for games that run at a variable resolution on the PlayStation 5. So what it is a little bit faster RAM, a little bit faster storage, but the CPU is still the same. Imagine yourself with the PlayStation 5 APU, because it's an APU. Imagine yourself in a small room with another person and y'all working out together. Y'all going to create heat. Y'all got dumbbells and stuff. It's going to create so much heat that it's going to slow people down because people are getting overheated. You got the weights that working too much and it's overbearing for what that little room could do. You need to expand the room. So what it is the PlayStation 5 Pro, they expand the room, but instead of you and the other guy, they took out the other guy and put in a bigger person, but didn't change the weights. Yes, the bigger guy could pick up the weights a lot easier and you could pick up the weights like it is. But when it comes down to it, the weights is slowing the bigger guy down while you keeping up, and he's not really getting the workout. And yes, there's more room for you to work out in, but it's still going to be slowed down because not only the weights didn't slow you down. Didn't slow them down, but it's holding them back. That's what we call bottlenecking. But let's continue. I think I was right here. While Sony wants the new model in game, the PlayStation 5 Pro enhanced label will still be of it. Okay, I read that part. I'm sorry. Um, this could mean we've seen PlayStation 5 Pro enhanced games that run at between 1080p and 1440p resolution at 30 frames per second on the base PlayStation 5 and run between 1280 and 2160p on the PlayStation 5 Pro at the same frame rate. A fixed resolution increase from 1440p to 2160p would also qualify as a PlayStation 5 Pro enhanced game. Developers could also choose to enable ray tracing effects and get the PlayStation 5 Pro enabled label without improving resolution or frame rate. If a developer wants to target 60 frames instead of 30 frames with the same resolution, this may also qualify as a PlayStation Pro enhanced game. Now, I'm going to keep it real. A lot of people rather just have performance over visuals. That means ray tracing and all that stuff. You should still have the option to choose, and don't force ray tracing because that's where the performance is dropping. And now I'm starting to think about where's the 120 frames per second that they promise on the box. And 8K, my graphics card could do 8K, but I'm not going to play at 8K because it was struggling at 8K. Won't stay at the 60 frame per second. And why would I want to play at 8K? I don't have an 8K TV. Do you realize how much 8K TVs are? If you don't have an 8K TV, then what's the point of having a console that even tried to touch 8K? It doesn't make sense. We're not there yet. All right, so I know a lot of people say that it is hard to build a PC that is compared to a PlayStation 5. If I'm not mistaken, I think the PlayStation 5 might be comparable to a 6750 XT, which is that 10% boost, or a 6800 XT from AMD. And the ray tracing doesn't look that different, but I built a build with what it is. This is my build right here. I'll put the link down below, but let's go ahead and look at this. The CPU, we got the AMD Ryzen 5 5500 6-core processor. But Sendo Q, what about the 8-core 16 threads? Well, remember, on paper, yes, that is a bigger CPU with more threads and all that stuff. But in real life, let's see what it is. We got the Sony PlayStation 5 that have a Ryzen 7 and is a Ryzen 7 4700S. It's not a big chip compared to a Ryzen 5 5500 XT, the one I have right here. Let's go ahead and look at the speeds. It got third generation with fourth generation. 8-core 16 threads, 6-core 12 threads. Yes, it got more threads, but if we keep on going down, we can see that the Sony PlayStation 5, when it comes down to single core, is 25% slower than the Ryzen 5 5500. And when it comes down to multi-core, it's literally close to 10% slower in multi-core. And if we look at the Cinebench number, you can see that it's literally 25% slower. Even though it's a 8-core 16 threads, and the AMD Ryzen 5 5500 is a 6-core 12 threads. Now, there's a thing that, it's just it's an older generation than the 5500. It's more closer to a third gen. It's a Ryzen 7 3700. You think so? Let's try the Ryzen 5 3600 compared to the PlayStation 5. As you can see, they're both on third generation, Zen 2. While the other one is Zen 5, this is Zen 2. More close to it, 8-core 16 threads to 6-core 12 threads. I'm not saying that the Ryzen 5 3600 is a bad CPU. It's not. But as we could keep on going down a little bit more, let's go ahead and get to the benchmarks. Even in single core performance, oh man, it's more of a 16%. The Sony PlayStation 5 single core is 16% slower than the Ryzen 5 3600. And it's 1% slower in multi-cores. If we look down to Cinebench, we still get more performance. Like I said, 14% more performance than the PlayStation 5. So if y'all want to talk about that, we're just going to go with the Ryzen 5 5500. With the Ryzen 5 5500. Come with a CPU cooler. $80.05. I mean, $80.05. So let's just go ahead and round. It's $80. We got an Asus Prime B550M-A motherboard with Wi-Fi for $99. I try to keep it with Wi-Fi, so just hold up with me. And I made it micro ATX. We got Silicon Power Gaming 16 gigabytes of DDR4 for $28.97. So pretty much $100, $80, $29. Team Group PCIe for 2 terabytes for $106. The Power Color Fighter Radeon RX 6750 XT. I don't have that card, but I have the younger brother of it. I put in somebody's build and I sold that build for $500. This right here is $300 card. Then we got the Dart Rock micro ATX case. Comes with 3 fans, $50. And we're going with the 600 watt 80 plus gold from Apia, $52. Guess how much all this costs? $716.97. And honestly, for that much, $717, that's actually, I will choose this over the PlayStation 5. Oh, but what about used parts? Sure, we could go with used parts. I got an eBay listing right here. $750. So $751 technically. Let's see what we got. We got a 600 watt Thermaltake power supply. We also got a 2 terabyte. Make sure I put 2 terabyte right there with Crusoe. Crucial. Even the better storage. $124.95. A Dart Rock case for $55. We got used RAM for $25. We got a refurbished B550. It's still like micro ATX, which is fine, for $85. This right here is a new Ryzen 5 5500 CPU for $93. Comes with a fan, so comes with a cooler, so you don't have to worry about it. And yes, thermal paste come with that. And then we also got the 6800 GPU that's on the same level as a PlayStation 5 Pro, quotes unquotes, for $305 for a grand total of $750.86. Honestly, there's so many options that you can have when it comes down to having a having a PC comparable to a PlayStation 5 Pro. And I know what a lot of people gonna say for the fanboys. Well, it's just for gaming. The thing about it is, when it comes down to PC, we always try to future-proof it. Like the power supply and all that stuff. We're trying to make sure that if we do upgrade, we don't have to change a lot of parts. Like I said, my PC is pretty powerful at the time. Now, it's still decent. I can still play all my games, but at the same time, look what I'm doing. I'm voice recording what it is right now while I'm looking on the screen. I'm using Streamlab OBS to record all of this. I'm using a lot of processing power. I also could play a game in the middle of it. I got so many options when it comes down to having a PC. And I'm going to keep it real. If I could spend $750 on a PC instead of spending $700 on a console, I'll have more options with a PC. But at the same time, you cannot sit there and say you cannot build a PC that is comparable to a PlayStation 5. You can. All these parts are dropping in money. These consoles, both Microsoft and Sony, their consoles are too overpriced. I think with the Xbox console, it should be $100 less or $150 less. Not 200 because I think they're not going to make no profit. And speaking of profit, isn't PlayStation making? I mean, already finished making their money back from the PlayStation 5, but yet they're giving you this $700 console. I thought these consoles supposed to be cheap to have. It's a cheaper way to get into gaming. Now we're crossing over to PC territory with the price and how you have to connect the disk drive to the console. Have to go online and find a a download so it could be with that console. And if the console breaks and you get a new one, you gotta put it down there again. And we don't know if it's gonna work or not if that's the case, because it might be locked down to one console. Then you also have the SSD that you have to take the console semi apart and put in the SSD. You're pretty much doing PC stuff, but yet you saying building the PC is hard. But yet you want to sit there and put a disk drive on the console, put a M.2 SSD in the console. When it comes down to a point where it's not hard to build a PC, you're almost there. And you know what? I'm going to say this. For the people who want to play on console, just get the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox. That's totally fine. I'm not mad. But at the same time, just go ahead and buy the console. Buy the cheaper version, because that's where you'll get your bang for your buck type of situation. And I'm not mad at people that playing on consoles. It's the fanboys that's steering you towards fighting in this console war that honestly doesn't even matter. These fanboys saying, "Oh, I'm going to buy this," but don't realize that a PC is just capable. And for the fanboys, you know what, fanboys? Go ahead and buy it. Go ahead and buy it. Buy the PlayStation 5 Pro. Go ahead. Buy the PlayStation 5 Pro. And then buy the PlayStation 6. And the PlayStation 6 Pro. And the PlayStation 7. And so on and so forth. Because if you can't realize that these companies is ripping you off, then I don't care. It's funny because you want change in the gaming sphere, but yet you're going to go ahead and sit here and buy the PlayStation 5 Pro with no disc drive and going to buy that disc drive for $80. Why do you think Helldiver got the backlash that it did from PC players? Why do you think everybody hated Concord and didn't even buy a single game? And then they refund everybody because it only sold 25,000. What about the people who on PC always fight back? Why do you think we speak for our wallets? Because stuff like this is ruining it. But hey, you want to go ahead and buy it. And you know what? It's your money. Go ahead and buy it, console fanboys. But realize, you can't say PC is too expensive while you sit here and pay $700. You say you can't build a PC, but go ahead and connect a disk drive to the console and the SSD to a console. You could do that, but PC hard to build. Oh, I don't want to worry about drivers, but as soon as you connect the disc to the PlayStation 5 Pro, you had to get a update or a driver, quote unquote, onto the PlayStation 5. Oh, and here's another thing. Why do you think PC games are cheaper? We have multiple stores. That's why we don't need a disc or a CD drive. There's cheaper games on multiple store. When you have PlayStation only got one store, they got rid of the competition. And they could charge you anything for a PlayStation game. Yeah. Honestly, telling you the truth, these consoles already killed physical media. But honestly, telling you the truth, Keep on paying $80 a year for playing your games online, even though you pay for your internet. Go ahead and do all that. I don't care. Pay for the console. Pay for $700. Go ahead. It's not powerful than a 4090, I can tell you that. But go ahead. Spend your money on this console. I don't care. Go ahead. I can't tell you how to spend your money. But for people that are not fanboys, just skip this PlayStation 5 Pro. Speak with your wallet. Remember, everybody's human. My name's Sendal Q, and you have yourself a great day. Peace.